My beautiful wife. This is what you call a mission complete. My wife was like, babe, can I go step out and have a few drinks with the young ladies, the girls? I said, babe, you goddamn right. I said, you tell them one thing, that you taking and you motherfucking for.
Are you tired of stalking me? Tired of constantly watching my page from a fake account? Talking about me to all of your friends? And simply just being a fucking weirdo? Then you need to call a psychiatric ward. Because, bitch, you're obsessed.
And an apparent murder suit took place Sunday morning, sending shockwaves through the city. Alexandria police say at around 4:30 a.m., they responded to a domestic disturbance in the 5900 block of Ronmar Drive. 2 bodies were discovered upon arrival.
So let me get this straight. This man films his wife getting ready to go out, posts it online talking about, tell them you're taken, acting like he's the most secure husband in America, the poster child for healthy masculinity. And then, 3 years later, he shoots her because she was doing exactly what he said was cool. Sir, if you were that pressed about her going out, why were you filming it? Why did you need to perform for the internet? You could have just said, nah, baby, stay home tonight, like a regular insecure man. But no, you wanted the cool husband points. You wanted everybody to see you being all progressive and supportive. And then you went home and turned into a whole different person. Make it make sense. This is Shaterrica Smith, 38 years old, full of life, the type of woman who walked into a room and the whole energy changed.
Beautiful.
You felt her presence. Beautiful, confident, living out loud. And this man right here? Tracy Johnnon, 42 years old, her husband, the man she married back in April 2022 in Destin, Florida. They had a whole wedding registry on the knot, asking people for cash gifts, which no shade, we've all been broke. But they wanted money for their dream wedding. And you know what? They got it. They had their moment. They did the thing. They were the couple. All over social media, looking like black love goals. Him posting her posting him. Comments full of relationship goals and this is what I want. But on March the 30th, 2025, at 4:30 in the morning, which is already suspicious because who's even awake at 4:30 a.m. unless they're heading to the airport or committing crimes? Tracy decided that Shaterrica living her life, being confident, going out with her girls, posting her videos, being too happy, too independent, too much herself, that she just couldn't do that anymore. And when I say he decided she couldn't do it anymore, I don't mean he filed for divorce. I don't mean he went to therapy. I don't mean he packed his bags and left. I mean he picked up a gun and ended her life, shot her dead in their home. And then, because he's a coward who couldn't even face what he did, he turned that gun on himself. Police rolled up to a domestic disturbance call on Ronmar Drive and found both of them gone. Just like that. A whole marriage, a whole life, over because a man's ego was more fragile than wet tissue paper. Shaterrica Daniel Smith was born November 9th, 1986, right here in Alexandria, Louisiana. Growing up, she was that girl. Magnetic personality, always laughing. The friend everybody wanted to be around. The one who walked into the party, and suddenly the party actually started. She was also the type of woman who wasn't afraid to speak her mind. You remember that TikTok? Are you tired of stalking me? Tired of constantly watching my page from a fake account? That energy. She didn't play about people being weird or obsessive. She called it out. And look, Shaterrica had a past, relationships that didn't work out, kids from previous situations, lessons learned. But what she also had was determination to not let her past define her. She was gonna live out loud, be seen, take up space. And if you had a problem with that, that's a you problem. By her 30s, Shaterrica is active on social media, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. Not desperate for validation, but genuinely living her life and letting people watch if they wanted. That confidence? That's what catches Tracy's attention. Tracy Johnson is 42 when they meet. On paper, he seems solid, stable, presents well, says the right things. And most importantly, he seems to appreciate her energy. He's hyping her up, supporting her online, playing secure man who loves his confident woman. Spoiler alert, he wasn't.
Day night.
I do it all, for real. I'm hitting my baby with these straw curls, working the one. Feel me? I do eyelashes too. I do anything for her. I'm a fool for love. Like what that boy say, Frito Bang, I'm a fool for love, man.
But Shaterrica doesn't know that yet. Here's a man who seems to get her, who wants her to be herself. That's rare. So when Tracy proposes, she says yes. When he suggests a destined Florida wedding, she's down. When they set up the cash registry for their dream wedding, she's excited about their future. April 16th, 2022. They get married. The pictures look beautiful. The posts are full of love and happiness. Mr. and Mrs. Johnson. Forever starts now. All the captions you'd expect from a couple that's in it for real. And for a minute there, it probably was real. Or at least it felt real. Here's the thing about Tracy. This man was a performer. His whole relationship was performance art for the internet. And not even good performance art. More like a high school play, where everyone can tell the actor doesn't mean it. Remember that video of Shaterrica getting ready to go out? Tell them you're taking and you're spoken for. On the surface, that's a secure husband being cool. But notice, he had to film it, post it. He needed the world to see him being cool husband. Why? Because that's not confidence. That's control with a ring light. If you're truly secure, you don't announce it. You just are. But Tracy needed witnesses. He needed those relationship goals comments. That was feeding the image while not actually being that person. Here's what Tracy wanted. The aesthetic. The bragging rights. The look at me with the hot wife. Trophy. He wanted to post her, show her off, have men think, damn, he got a good one. But the reality of an actually confident, independent woman, that came with her own opinions, own friends, own life that didn't revolve around him. Posting yacht videos for herself, not for him. And that was a problem. Shaterrica didn't shrink after marriage. Some women do. Ring goes on. Suddenly they're quieter, smaller, less themselves. Not her. If anything, marriage made her more confident. Still posting, still traveling, still living loudly. And that yacht video? Shaterrica in a bikini, music playing, shaking what her mama gave her. Was it provocative? Yeah. Was she doing it to make Tracy mad? Maybe. Maybe not. Could have just been her, having fun like millions of women do daily without their husbands becoming murderers about it. But here's the no BS part. That video probably set Tracy off. Did Shaterrica have the right to post herself looking good? Absolutely. Should she have dimmed her light? Hell no. But was Tracy bothered? You can bet he was. Checking comments, watching who liked it, making mental notes of every man who dared drop a fire emoji. And that's the thing about insecure men. They want you confident enough to make them look good, but not so confident you realize you could do better. Independent enough to handle your business, but not so independent you don't need them. Fine, but not so fine that others notice. Tracy wanted Shaterrica in a specific box. Post, but not too much. Go out, but not too often. Be beautiful, but only for him. And when she refused, when she kept being herself at full volume, his mask started slipping. By late 2024, early 2025, things are getting bad. We don't have all the details. Domestic violence doesn't send press releases. But you can imagine. Arguments about posts. Who you posting that for? Fights about going out. You went out again? Accusations. I saw that comment. Jealousy growing monstrous. And Shaterrica, probably trying to balance. Make him feel secure while staying herself. That exhausting dance of keeping peace while keeping your soul. Maybe she stopped posting certain things. Turned down invitations. Explained herself more than she should have. Showed him her phone, trying to prove innocence when she'd committed no crime. But here's the thing about men like Tracy. It's never enough. You can shrink to nothing, and they'll still find something wrong. Because the problem was never what you were doing. It's who you are. Tracy probably started small, commenting on outfits. That's what you're wearing? Making jokes that weren't jokes. You must want all the attention. Side comments about friends. Checking her phone. Creating an environment where Shaterrica had to constantly defend herself for existing. And somewhere in that, Shaterrica probably realized the man she married wasn't who she thought. The cool husband was a costume. Underneath was someone deeply insecure, controlling and dangerous. But by then, she's married. Maybe financially tied, emotionally invested, hopeful he'd change back. Because that's what we do. Remember the good times, convince ourselves that person's still in there. That if we just love them enough, they'll come back. They don't come back. 'Cause that person never existed. Tracy wants submission. Wants her to choose his comfort over her freedom. To shrink and be quiet and stop making him feel inadequate. When she won't. When she keeps living, keeps shining. Tracy makes the final decision. March 30th, 2025. It's a Sunday morning. 4:30 a.m. Most people are asleep at 4:30 in the morning. It's that weird hour where the night hasn't quite ended, but the morning hasn't really started. It's dark. It's quiet. It's the kind of time when bad things happen because nobody's around to stop them. Alexandria police get a call about a domestic disturbance at the 5900 block of Ronmar Drive. Shots fired. When they arrive and enter the residence, they find Shaterrica Smith, 38 years old, dead from a gunshot wound. And just a few feet away, Tracy Johnson, 42 years old, also dead. Apparent self-inflicted gunshot wound. This man shot his wife. Then he shot himself. Because if he couldn't have her, couldn't control her, couldn't make her be who he wanted her to be, then nobody could have her. And he wasn't going to stick around to face the consequences of what he'd done. That's not love. That's not passion. That's not even jealousy. That's ownership. That's a man who saw his wife as property. And when that property tried to have its own life, he destroyed it. And I need you all to understand something. There is no argument, no social media post, no amount of "she was doing too much" that justifies this. You don't get to murder someone because they wouldn't be quiet. You don't get to take a life because your ego couldn't handle their confidence. You leave. You divorce. You go to therapy. You do literally anything except pick up a weapon and end someone's existence. But Tracy didn't want any of those options. Because all of those options meant Shaterrica got to keep living, keep posting, keep being happy, just without him. And his ego couldn't survive that. So he made sure she didn't survive either. The news covered it like they cover every domestic situation. Apparent murder-suicide. Investigation ongoing. Clean, sanitized language for a messy, violent reality.
And an apparent murder-suicide took place Sunday morning, sending shockwaves through the city. Alexandria police say at around 4:30 a.m., they responded to a domestic disturbance in the 5900 block of Ronmar Drive. 2 bodies were discovered upon arrival, 38-year-old Shaterrica Smith and 42-year-old Tracy Johnson. Authorities say it appears that both died from gunshot wounds, but that Johnson's appeared to be self-inflicted. They are investigating this incident as an apparent murder-suicide. APD asks anyone with information about this incident to contact them at the number on your screen.
But Shaterrica's community? They were devastated. Her funeral was held April the 12th, 2025, at the Alexandria Convention Center. Not a small church service. The Convention Center. Because that's how many people she touched. That's how many lives she impacted. Her obituary mentioned her children, her family, her friends. People posted tributes talking about her energy, her laugh, her spirit. How she made everyone feel special. How she lit up every room she entered. And Tracy? Well, nobody's mourning Tracy. Because Tracy is the reason we're having this conversation. Tracy is the reason Shaterrica's kids don't have a mother anymore. Tracy is the reason a vibrant, beautiful, alive woman is in the ground. So what do we learn from this? What's the point of telling this story, besides just being sad and angry? Here it is. Performative love is dangerous, and it's everywhere. Tracy and Shaterrica looked perfect online. The loving husband, the confident wife, the couple everybody wanted to be, the relationship goals, the black love representation. All the things that make people hit that button and drop heart emojis in the comments. But that performance was hiding a man who was seething with insecurity and control issues. A man who was playing a role for the audience, while being a completely different person when the cameras turned off. And here's the scary part. You might be in a relationship like this right now and not even know it. Because men like Tracy are good at performing. They've studied the script. They know exactly what to say to sound supportive. They know how to post the right captions. They know how to play supportive partner for the audience. They'll film you getting ready, hype you up online, comment under your posts with the right emojis. But then when you're alone, when it's just you and him in the house with no witnesses, that's when you see who they really are. So I'm gonna ask you something, and I want you to really think about it. Maybe even pause this video and sit with the question. Does your partner support your confidence, or do they just perform, supporting it? Do they genuinely want you to shine, or do they want you to shine just enough to make them look good, but not so much that you outshine them? Because there's a difference. And that difference can be the difference between a healthy relationship and a deadly one. Here are some signs, and I want you to really pay attention to these because they could save your life. If your partner needs to film and post themselves being okay, with you having a life, that's performance, not security. If they constantly need external validation for being a good partner, that's a red flag. If they support you online but question you offline, that's a mask slipping. If they want you confident in front of others but uncomfortable with your confidence in private, run. And for those of you all in the comments about to say, well, not all men, you're right, not all men. But enough men that we have to tell these stories. Enough men that women die every single day from domestic violence. Enough men that we can't tell the difference between the performative ones and the real ones until it's too late. Shaterrica Smith deserved better. She deserved a partner who could handle her light without trying to dim it. She deserved to live her life loudly without fear. She deserved to grow old, to watch her children grow up, to keep making people laugh and feel special and light up rooms with her presence. Instead, she's gone. At 38 years old, 38, she should have had decades left. Decades of life and love and joy and growth. But she got cut short because a man decided his ego was more important than her life. Because a man couldn't handle her happiness. Because a man saw her as property that needed to be destroyed rather than a person who deserved to be free. Rest in peace, Shaterrica. Your light got extinguished way too soon. But your story is gonna make other women pay attention to the red flags. Your story is gonna make people question the perfect couples they see online. Your story matters. And Tracy, wherever you are, I hope it was worth it. I hope those few seconds of rage were worth spending eternity knowing you're the reason a beautiful soul is gone. I hope it was worth robbing children of their mother. I hope it was worth becoming exactly what everyone will remember you as. A murderer who couldn't handle his wife's happiness. That's the story of Shaterrica Smith and Tracy Johnson. A marriage that looked perfect online but was rotting from the inside. A reminder that not everything that looks like love actually is love. And a tragedy that never should have happened. What do you think? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if this story hit home, share it. Because somebody needs to hear this. Somebody needs to recognize the signs before it's too late.